The biggest thing that I took away was how I come in every day is how my team see me, and that's where we're all going for the day. So if I start high and on peak and like I try and share a quote or, a positive message, especially at the start of the week, that's setting us up for a good week.
Welcome to Focus Focus. Voices leading change.
Kia ora everyone, welcome back. We are with Ashlee.
Morning.
How are you?
Good, Frank, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Let's dive into it. Let's dive into the leadership law of the lid, which we discussed. So you and I and Courtney, and probably anyone else who wants to join in, but we're about to go down a bit of a deep dive of John C. Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Did you have a look at any of them? Yeah.
So I just want to dig into that first one for a start, because there's so much more than just the video.
So the law of the lid, what is that to you?
I feel like it's not just in leadership, but in life that we can. It's like self-limiting beliefs. It's self-doubt, lots of things. So,
yes.
But I really enjoyed listening to that.
So in essence, the law of the lid, basically, if we were to use a number, it basically, if you are a 4 out of 10, that's your lid. And basically what John C. Maxwell argues is that your team cannot go any higher, or your organisation or your company cannot go any higher than the lid of the leader. And in that scenario there, it means that, but it also means, he doesn't say that that's it, that's
I feel
it.
like
You're
it
a
can
4.
change daily as well.
Yes. But he's not saying, you're a 4 and that's it, you're a 4 forever. He's saying that you can continue to work and grow to a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if that's where you are, that's the capacity of your team. So in that space, we actually discussed ourselves and our own leadership lid, or what number we ranked ourselves at. But as an exercise, what do you think that asks of leaders to do in their own, in that window? What does it ask us to do as leaders to start thinking about?
I feel like self-reflection and the impact that you have on your team. And I feel like the biggest thing that I took away was how I come in every day is how my team see me, and that's where we're all going for the day. So if I start high and on peak and like I try and share a quote or, a positive message, especially at the start of the week, that's setting us up for a good week, for example. Whereas if I'm coming in low and down here and we're not going any higher than that. So
what's the role of authenticity in that scenario though? Because I know plenty of people that just pump out a quote, but they're not happy.
I think it sets me up for a good day too, if I'm honest.
Yep.
Because it's gratitude for me. Starts my day well. Wanting to pump my team up, I get joy out of that. I enjoy that. Yeah.
So going back to the law, the actual law, we're talking about what are some of the limiters in that phase, or what puts people into that phase. What have been, so for me personally, I spoke about emotions. Sometimes I get carried away by emotions. I know it's been hidden in the past as being passion, but actually emotion also is a better way of phrasing what it does. What are some of the leadership lids that we see in people?
Definitely emotional. Reactions as well. Different people react to different situations. What they're presented with on the daily, that can also set you up for where your lid's at, I feel. And coping skills, it's probably a big one.
Yes, I mean, that's a major skill.
Yeah.
And then when it comes back to, so let's dig into coping skills. So what is coping for a starter?
We talked about this the other day, and it wasn't just putting on a front and acting like everything's okay and carrying on, because then you're just going to blow up, but actually looking your challenge in the eye and then working out how you can get over it, who you need to support you to overcome it, if you need anyone, or if you can pull within yourself to move forward. And I think everyone's at different levels, but yeah, I think I pride myself on having pretty good coping skills, but also being authentic, and if I'm having a hard time, talking it through with someone.
And in that space of coping, because how do we get better at coping?
Experience. Like, I would say 10 years ago when I was in this sort of a role, little situations would, stress you out, and oh my gosh, how do I react in that? But, or how, what actions do I take to overcome something? But now, with all these years of experience, things do come easier. So with practice, coping gets better.
And interestingly, when it comes back to coping, really, you got to be in situations to learn how to cope better.
Yeah.
I think that's the cold hard truth, especially when you're talking about the law of the lid. if you come into a situation without the experience, you're in trouble. You know, like I can't remember who was talking about it. Someone was talking to the fact that if you and I climb the mountain, we climb the big mountain, we get to the top, and we know the experience of what it takes to climb the mountain, and then someone gets dropped off on the helicopter and they have to go and climb the next mountain. How, you know, what experience is the person who got dropped off in the helicopter going to carry into climbing the next mountain in relation to us, right? The ones who initially climbed. However, I also think that becomes a lid, because then you start hearing things like, well, this is what we did, you know, when I worked for, you know, back when I was at this team and they were amazing and I did this. Sure, that counts, but also it becomes a lid, because that's all you see is how it was.
Well, I don't want to cope with it how I did. I want to cope better.
Yes.
I want to up level every time something comes at me. So yeah, it's great to take on experiences that you've been through, but I think you learn and grow through different situations.
Do you think people are really aware when they're in an experience too that they're learning?
That's an emotional reaction too, because I think, you know, you can be in there like, this is the worst day ever, this is the worst situation, I just want to get out of here. But so probably in the moment, no, that's quite hard. But I know after it might have been a stressful day or situation or a conversation, for myself, I walk away and reflect, like, what could have gone better or what have I learned from that? So everyone's different. In the moment, I don't personally sit there and go, I'm learning through this, I'm growing. Maybe if it's something long term, like a fight camp or something, I'm learning and growing. But in a hard situation, generally, you're trying to just get through it.
I think I do that now.
Do you?
I think I've gotten to a point of self-awareness that I actually realise, you know, a situation's in front of me and I'm like, right, I'm learning now. You know, like, I think it's actually a very effective tool for allowing me to analyse my lid, if anything, because I've generally, if I'm saying that to myself, then I've met a lid. Is that fair? Yeah, that's fair. So if I'm meeting a situation where I'm like, don't know what to do here, I'm at a lid. You know, I think that's probably quite prevalent to me now that I think through that law. Because in the past, where emotions got away from me and I've made poor decisions or said poor things, I'm not aware until after. Yeah. Until the person's like, hey man, that wasn't very nice, or hey, you're a dork, or, you know, I
think your self-awareness helps with your coping skills and the way you react.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when it comes back to that self-awareness, that lid, that what are some things that we employ as a council that allow us to address those lids or perceived lids?
I think one of the biggest things I think we always talk about, especially Auntie, she's always talking about it's okay to make mistakes here, and it's okay to learn and grow and share our, not always failures, but hiccups, and then move forward and make a plan to make things better, and that kind of acceptance. And there's no, I'm not saying we can do heaps of wrong and there's no repercussion, but we're okay to learn and grow. That's a big part of it.
And yeah, you're right. I mean, it's one thing. I know there was a buzz time where people are like, here we really encourage mistakes, but then really in essence, in culture, are they really about that? I mean, having the ability for people to be supported through mistakes is certainly something we've prided ourselves on, but it's in action. As a leader, sometimes your mistakes have far greater impact than we believe or that we want to share. So, I think it's cool to hark back to Auntie and what she's talking about, but you've got to have a culture that allows us to actually bring up the mistakes
in a way.
Well, it's
the behaviour from the mistake. Like there's no shame or guilt, or we just move forward together. So, which is probably a really big thing in a lot of companies. It's not always like that hierarchy or someone coming down hard on you.
Yeah, I think maybe when I think through that just now, when I think through that, if you have competitiveness around positions in an organization, you can see why people hide mistakes. You know, like you'd hide it because you're guarding your own position, quite frankly. But then if you think about that culture of, hey, I can actually share that I've made a mistake, in the desire and hope that we either A, don't repeat the mistake, or B, we take out all the learning from it.
Or someone else has made it and they haven't shared it, and then they also want to grow from that.
It is quite a power. Again, that's a lid where people don't want to share or whatever. It's people self-reflection. Oh no, I'm not good at my job, or blah 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 blah, all that rubbish. But yeah, okay. Yeah, fascinating. A fascinating little conversation about the law of the lid, because I know there's 20 other laws to go through, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It was a powerful discussion we had at the council meeting last Thursday, when asking ourselves to reflect on our own level and then what our teams would give us.
Yeah, that was also around being really honest with yourself, and we could have all sat here and given ourselves a 10 or a 6, or being really hard on ourselves, or maybe giving ourselves too many credits.
Yeah, I think the level's relevant to where you sit today, though.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, like if we were taken out of it and put into a larger company where we've got more people, and you got what, 20 odd team members that you're with on the daily. You know, all of a sudden you're put in charge of a centre that's got 50. You know, what does that look like?
Yeah,
huge. You know what I mean? And that's, I think for me personally, that why the law of the lid's real relevant to me is because last year, my own goal setting, I asked the question, could I be CEO of another company? Not that I wanted to, or not that that's what I was looking for. The question was built around my own self-awareness and making me aware of the good things that I do and that I'm very good at and passionate about, but also my real areas of weakness, you know? And it was asking me to say, cool, this is what you're good at. You could continue to do that really well in a bigger company or in a bigger space, but you've also got this as a glaring weakness, which might have been A, B, C. And then what it allowed me to do was then go and pour all my personal development space into those areas. Yeah. But you got to be reflection. Yeah, you got to be really, really honest with yourself, because actually, a lot of the times you dig up stuff you don't like. And you're like, oh, I'm not good at that because I'm not passionate about it, or you make all the excuses under the sun. Yeah. But then in reality, you can't answer that question honestly of, can I be CEO of another company? It's a big one. Now you got me thinking. Okay, thank you. That's good chat. I think we will be coming back. If you haven't seen the book, it is John C. Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws. We're fight camping that book. We're kind of building it into a space where we can dig in, and it is available on YouTube and stuff. Have you watched any others? No, not yet. Oh, yeah, right. I want to focus on the book. Yeah. So the books, we got Ashley the book, and I've got our own copy, and some other people will get into it. But we look more in detail. Yeah, it's way more. It's way better. Yeah, but we look forward to digging into some of those laws. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Ray.